Welcome once again, gentle folks, to another week of your English Premier League betting tips and the predictions. I hope you had a wonderful game week last week and you had some wonderful results and you managed to rake in the profits. Alright, so for this week, we're going to start on a Saturday, and as usual, before you start, I want you to subscribe to my channel if you have not done so yet. And also, when you're subscribing, ensure that you click the notification bell. And as usual, thank you for your support, and please I'm asking also to share the word on social media so that we can have more persons coming here and watching these videos and earn passively. This is just another way of earning, and as usual, gamble and gamble responsibly. Alright, thank you. Let's head straight into it, and we're going to start with Leicester City versus Manchester City. Alright, Leicester City versus Manchester City at the King Power here. I'm expecting this one to be an interesting matchup in a sense. Mind you, based on a lot of averages, City should be falling back a little bit, but no, I think they're going to, they have always been in touch and distance of Arsenal, but I do believe that it's going to be a little bit more starting this weekend. They want to end and end well before they get head into the World Cup, and that's another thing, 2 to 3 weeks. Right, so for this game now, Leicester City versus Manchester City. Leicester City is always a tough side when they're in good form to beat at the King Power. As you can see, I think they had a 4-0 win in the last game at the King Power. Really good results, but as it relates to this game, we're going to take City to win this match. Both teams to score. In terms of a combination, I'll go with either team to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me here, I'm going to take a 3-1 victory for City. As usual, if you don't want to do the scoreline, you can always go on the handicap system, and then I suggest you take City to win here by a goal. Alright, $1.70, that's good enough. As usual, I'm going to head to my anytime goal scorers, and well, not seeing them here today, on for this year. The bet, we have not yet put up all their betting options, so I'm not seeing my anytime goal scorers here. But anyways, my anytime goal scorers are the usual suspects. As you know, Erling Haaland, you have for City, that is Erling Haaland. Phil Foden, depends on the amount of time he gets, he's always on the list as well. Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, and also Joe Consuelo. I like that player. I think he's the best right full back in the world at the present moment. Everybody talking about Trent Alexander and James. Consuelo is a much better attacker and much better defender than they are, and so therefore so those guys are the guys that I expect to score from the City side of the football. And also in terms of the Leicester side of the football, you have the usual suspects. You have Jamie Vardy, you have Patson Daka, you have Madison Tillemans. Remember, he was overdue a goal and he's managed to score over the weekend, so he's also on the list as well, possible players who could score. But for me in this game, I go with if Phil Foden start, I'll go Phil Foden if he starts, but I'm not sure if he's gonna start. I guess Pep resting because of the Champions League this week, so therefore he'll be coming on. Alright, and so I'm going to go with Bernardo Silva to be my anytime goal scorer in this game. Alright, and based on how things have unfolded over the past couple of days. So recapping predictions here, I'm expecting City to win, expecting both teams to score. In terms of a combination, I go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of City, I do believe. And on the handicap system, I'm taking City to win by a goal. And by anytime goal scorer in this game, I would go with Bernardo Silva. Alright, so moving on to our next game, and the next game is Bournemouth versus Tottenham Hotspurs. Alright, Spurs visiting Bournemouth here. Bournemouth have been picking up some form at home. They've been defending home turf well, and so therefore it's not going to be easy for Hotspurs here, for Tottenham Hotspurs. So therefore there should be an interesting matchup in the sense that Conte will have to fight in 2-0 to get this one here, I do believe. So I'm going to say here both teams to score. Go with a combination next, and that is either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm going to go with a 2-1 victory for Hotspurs, Tottenham Hotspurs. I wouldn't be too surprised if it's the other way around. And as it relates to my anytime goal score and not having them here as yet, as usual I say, my anytime goal score, the usual suspects based on the Bournemouth side of football. You go with Solanke, And also you go with Billin, you go with Tanvir, players like also what's his name again, Kiefer Moore. If he gets enough time, then he could score as well. And also over on the other side you have Tottenham Hotspurs. Those players you have I think there you have Harry Kane, and you also have Son Heung-min. You have Richarlison. If he's fit enough and comes back, then he can score as well. You also have Sessegnon. If it depends on the amount of times you get, he can score. Horberg as well. Emil Horberg can come on and score a goal as well for them. Basuma doesn't usually score much, but if he gets the opportunity, he will take it. Yeah. Not sure if Kulisevsky will be coming back this weekend, but those guys are the guys who could possibly pop up and score a goal for Tottenham Hotspurs. Right? Harry Kane, he has been scoring non-stop over the past, I think, 5 or 6 games. He's scoring all of those games. Whether Tottenham Hotspur wins or loses, he scores. Alright, so for me, my in-time goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with Son Heung-min. Alright, so recapping predictions for Bournemouth versus Tottenham Hotspurs, I'm going to go with both teams to score. Combination, either to win and both to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm going to say 2-1 in favor of Tottenham Hotspurs. And in terms of my inorganic goal scorer, I'm going to go with Son Heung-min. Alright, so those are my predictions for Bournemouth versus Tottenham Hotspurs. And now we're going to move on to Brentford versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. And for Brentford versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, this game, Brentford being at home, lost their game at the King Power last time out 4-0. I think they should be hunting to come back to get a better result here, and so therefore it's not going to be easy for Wolverhampton. Wolverhampton usually a very good team defensively, and so they also lost 4-0 over the weekend, and so therefore they should be coming back to try and straighten things out and ensure that things go the way how they ought to be going in terms of their plans for this season. But I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take Brentford to win this one, and I'm going to say here both teams not to score. In terms of a combination bet, I'll go with either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline here, I'm going to say 2-0 in favor of Brentford. As usual, I don't have my anytime goal scorers here this week, so as I said, Betway have not yet updated the system with anytime goal scorers, so therefore I can't run through the list and show you the odds. But for me, anytime goal scorers, as usual on the Brentford side of football, you have Brian Mbeumo, and you have Ivan Toney, you have Wissa, the super sub, you have Da Silva, who was a super sub earlier in the season as well. You have also you have Damsgaard, who can come on and do something. I think also for Brentford you have some defenders. I don't think Jensen is playing. I don't know if Jensen is playing, but he usually can probably put a goal as well. And also on the Wolverhampton side of the football, you have Ruben Neves, you have João Moutinho. He's due a goal. He hasn't scored in ages. Also, Adama Traore could score depending on the amount of time he gets. He can score a goal as well. And also, we have on the Wolverhampton side of football, you have Diego Costa. And also, you have Gias as well, who could come on and score a goal for us. Alright, so, but for me, my in-time goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with Ivan Toney. And so, Ivan Toney is going to be my in-time goal for this game. So, recapping predictions for Brentford versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, I'm expecting Brentford to win. I'm expecting both teams not to score. In terms of a combination bet, I'll go with either to win and both not to score. Predicted scoreline 2-0 in favor of Brentford, and my anytime goal scorer to be Ivan Toney. Alright, so those are my predictions for Brentford versus Wolverhampton, and now we're going to move on over to Brighton Hove Albion versus Chelsea. This should be an interesting one for Graham Potter. I think that, well, I don't know how much the crowd is going to appreciate his return to their stadium, but it should be an interesting one. Alright, so let's head straight into it. Predictions for Brighton versus Albion. Brighton and Albion Hove versus Chelsea. Debris, he's been having a tough time of late in the last 3 games. They haven't been having the best results, but they still do have a fairly good squad of players. But I don't know what's going to happen here. Chelsea will be playing in Europe this week as well, so let's see how much it impacts on their game this weekend. But for this game, I'm going to expect both teams to score here. It's a strong possibility that it might end in a draw, I do believe. both teams to score. In terms of a correct scoreline here, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. And in terms of possible goal scorers here now, I'm going to go and I'm going to say here that we should, on the Brighton side of the football, you have Welbeck, you have Trossard, you have Pascal Gross. Seems as if he's lost his form somewhat. You have Solly Marsh as well. And also on the Chelsea side of the football, you have Aubameyang, if he plays, that is. You have Raheem Sterling, who's overdue a goal. And you have Kai Havertz, if he plays. And you have Pulisic, if he plays as well. And you have Borjan, who's a hard worker. So Borjan can come on and score a goal as well. And also, in terms of other players there, you have Koulibaly in defense, who could pop up and score a goal as well. James will be out until I think maybe about December. Alright, so recapping predictions for Brighton versus Chelsea. I'm expecting both teams to score. And predicted scoreline, I'm saying 1-1 here. Otherwise, I think we might have another goal, and that other goal might go to Chelsea based on the run of form. Alright, so my anytime goal score for this one, as usual, I'm going to tell you that my anytime goal score is going to be Pierre Aubameyang if he starts. If he doesn't start, then I'll go to thing there to be my anytime goal scorer. Alright, be my anytime goal scorer. So that's where my predictions are. I'd go with Raheem Sterling rather. Alright, sorry about that. So those are my predictions for Brighton versus Chelsea, and now we're going to move on to our next game, and our next game is Crystal Palace versus Southampton, and this should be an interesting matchup. Crystal Palace versus Southampton. Crystal Palace versus Southampton here. So Crystal Palace, they've been doing well at home for the most part this season, and so therefore it should be an interesting matchup. I think this game is about this game based on how both teams have been playing. I think it's about this game, to be honest with you, and so therefore I'm going to go here with Crystal Palace to win this one. So Crystal Palace to win, both teams to score, and combination either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline 3-1 in favor of Palace. If you don't want to bet a card score, you can always go on the handicap system and you can take Palace to win this one by a goal. Alright, Palace to win by a goal, $3.40. That's a lot of bet. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Yeah, and so in terms of the anytime goal scores, as I said to you earlier, the Betway has not yet updated system with the anytime goal scores, so I won't be showing you their odds this week, but I just run through a general list of possible players here. And so therefore in terms of possible goal scorers, you have possible goal scorers here, you have thing there, Zaha for Palace, and also you have Ayew, you have Mateta if he plays Eduardo as well, you have Schlupp as well, you have Olise and Eze. All of those guys can pop up at any point and give you a goal. For Southampton, you have James Ward-Prowse, he's overdue a goal as well. James Ward-Prowse, Shea Adams, you have also Adam Armstrong, and who could come up and give you a goal? Eliusi as well will come up and give you a goal. But for me, my anytime goal scorer in this game is going to be Eze. I'm going to go with Eze to be my anytime goal scorer. And so starting from top with my predictions, I'm taking here Crystal Palace to win, both teams to score, I do believe. And in terms of a combination bet, I'll go with either to win and both to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying 3-1 here in favor of Southampton, and on the handicap system, I'll go with Southampton to win this one by a goal. Alright, so in terms of my predictions here, those are my predictions for the Crystal Palace versus Southampton game. And now I'm going to move on over to Newcastle United versus Aston Villa. Alright, Newcastle versus Aston Villa. So Newcastle versus Aston Villa. I'm expecting Newcastle to continue their good form, expecting them to win here. I'm also expecting both teams to score. Aston Villa seems to be finding some fight, but they're going to need more than that when it comes against Newcastle. Newcastle to win, but expecting both teams to score. In terms of a combination bet, I will go with either team to win and both not to, and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm going to say 2-1 in favor of Newcastle. Otherwise, I think it's going to be 3-1. Alright, in terms of anytime goal scorers, they're the usual suspects. You have Wilson, you have Miguel Almiron, you have Gimmers, you have also you have Joe Willock, who's overdue a goal as well for Newcastle. And on the Aston Villa side of the football, you have Leon Bale, you have Buendia, you have Danny Iggs, you have Ollie Watkins, you have also Douglas Luiz. But for me, for this week, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Wilson. I'm going to go with Wilson from Newcastle, and so he will be my anytime goal scorer for this week. Recapping my other predictions for Newcastle versus Aston Villa, I'm expecting Newcastle to win, expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a combination bet, I would say either team to win and both to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying 2-1 in favor of Newcastle United. And those are all my predictions for this week for the Newcastle versus Aston Villa game. Remember, folks, get out your pens and papers and take your notes. And remember, on average, you put 3 to 5 predictions per betting slip, depending on your bankroll. If you have a really good bankroll, then you can put 3 or 4 the most on your betting slip, right? And then from there, the lesser possibilities in your betting slip, the stronger the likelihood of you winning your ticket, yeah? The more possibilities, the higher it is that you might not get it correct, even when you simplify your bets, yeah? Based on my experience over the years. Alright, so move on to our next game, and our next game is Fulham versus Everton. Fulham versus Everton. And so for this game now, this game being at Craven Cottage, Everton, I think they still do possess the best defensive record in the league. Maybe a lot of us never saw that coming, but I knew that Jordan was a really good keeper, and I expected them to be tough. But what was saying that they were going to struggle to score. But they have been managed of late to find some goals. I think they scored 3 in the last game over the weekend. Yes, I think if it's not 3, it's 4. They Calvert-Lewin score, and as well as I think they have Dwight McNeil scored as well, and somebody else score. I think they had 3 different scorers. Yeah. So predictions for Fulham versus Everton. For this game, I'm expecting this one to end in a draw. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a combination bet, I would go with not going to take a combination there. Sorry about that, folks. I just hit the microphone. Alright, so in terms of correct score line, I'm going to go here. I'm going to say we're going to have a 1-1 draw. Alright. In terms of my anytime goal scorers, as I just mentioned a number of persons to you just now, you have on the Fulham side of the football, you have Mitrovic, you have William, who has showed himself up. He's now getting more time. William as well. You have Andreas Pereira. You have also Bobby Reed, and you have Paulina. And on the Everton side of the football, you have Anthony Gordon, and you have Calvert-Lewin, and you have also Dwight McNeil. You have Iwobi. You have Neil Maupay. If he gets time, he could score as well. But for me, for this game, I'm going to go with my anytime goal scorer to be Andreas Pereira. Outside of that, I would have gone with Anthony Gordon. Alright, so either of those players you can choose them to be your anytime goal scorer whenever the option comes available on the platform here. Because of when I'm recording the video, they have not yet updated the system with the anytime goal scorers, hence the reason why I can't run through the list and show you the different odds that you're giving it for the anytime goal scorers. But as usual with betting, the earlier you place your bets, the better the odds that you get, yeah? So, recapping predictions for Fulham versus Everton, I'm expecting this game to end in a draw, expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of a correct scoreline, I'm going to go with 1-1 in this game, alright? So those are my predictions for Everton versus Fulham, and so we're going to move to our next game, and the next game is Liverpool versus Leeds United, alright? These Leeds, I think, are currently in the relegation zone. Let's just jump over to the standings here and see what's happening. Yes, they are in the relegation zone, and so therefore this is going to be a tough matchup here on Sunday. and Leeds will be coming out fighting, and so it's not going to be easy for Liverpool, and Liverpool has not been in the best of form all season. They're yet to find themselves, and they're yet to show them all selves. Yeah. So with that said, I'm going to head straight into the predictions, and for this game we're expecting here, I'm expecting both teams to score. In terms of a combination, I go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline from my point of view, I'm going to go with Liverpool to win this one 3-2. And in terms of possible goal scorers, you have the usual suspects from Liverpool. You have Mohamed Salah, you have Darwin Núñez. If he comes back from his injury, he's also a possibility who will score. You have Elliott as well. You have Thiago, doesn't score much, but he's overdue a goal as well. He could score, and also if Trent gets enough time, then Trent could pop up and provide an assist, and he could also score as well. Alright. Also, another thing on the Leeds side of the football, you have Aronson, and you have Harrison, and you have Brentford as well, and you have Rodrigo. So all of those guys can come up and score a goal at any point. But for me, my end-time goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with my end-time goal scorer in this game to be Mohamed Salah. I think Mohamed Salah is going to score here. And outside of Mohamed Salah, if you want to take one from the Leeds side of the football, I'd go with Brentford. Alright. So those are my anytime goal scorers for this particular game. Recapping predictions for this game now, I'm expecting Liverpool to win. In terms of a combination bet, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me, 3-2 in favor of Liverpool. Yeah. So those are my predictions for Liverpool versus Leeds United. And now we're going to skedaddle on over into our next game, and our next game is Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, and this is the penultimate game for this game week, the penultimate game. I think I'm getting my tongue twisted with that word. Anyway, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, and for this game, I'm expecting Arsenal to get back to winning ways. I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm going to say both teams are going to score, but Arsenal should win. Arsenal also might be playing Europe. I think they're playing. I think they're playing Europe this week. And so therefore, my predicted scoreline for this game, I'm going to give Arsenal this 1-1. Otherwise, it's 3-1, I do believe. And in terms of the anytime goal scorers, the usual suspects for Arsenal, you have Martinelli, you have Odegaard, you have Jesus, you have Xhaka, you have Saka. You have who else is there? I think there you have Ben White is due a goal, so Ben White will score as well. Alright. On the Nottingham Forest side of the football, you have Brennan Johnson, you have Aniwani as well, and you have Lingard who's overdue a goal, and you also have Gibbs White who could pop up and score as well. So, but for me, my end-time goal scorer in this game, I'm going to go with Bukayo Saka to be my end-time goal scorer in this game. Alright. So otherwise, outside of that, recapping the predictions for Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest, I'm expecting Arsenal to win. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm going to say 2-1 in favor of Arsenal. Otherwise, I think it might be 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. Alright, so those are my predictions for Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. And our final game for this week is Manchester United versus West Ham United. And this one is at Old Trafford, the Theatre of Dreams. And so it's not going to be an easy one for Manchester. Neither team, I do believe, but Manchester have been managing to eke out results, and they've been doing pretty well. The players would be encouraged where they are in the table. I think they'll be pushing to get into the top 4 by the time they take the break for the World Cup. And so therefore, this game against West Ham, I'm going to take Manchester United to win this one. And both teams score, and I'm going to say yes. And also, in terms of a combination, I'll go with either to win and both to score. Predicted scoreline for me, I'm going to say Manchester United to win this one 3-1. Otherwise, I'd say 2-1. If you want to go on the handicap system, you can go ahead and take Manchester United to win this one by a goal. Alright. Otherwise, in terms of the anytime goal scorers, they are the usual suspects. Cristiano should be coming back might be coming back this weekend, but I don't think he's going to play. If he does play, he's not going to play for very long, maybe about 10 or 5 minutes. The solo anytime goal scorers, Cristiano, yes, a possibility. Marcus Rashford, if Martial is fit and ready, then he should come back as well, and he should come in and play his part here. And also, in terms of another goal scorer, you have Bruno Fernandes, you have Anthony, and You also have Fred, who could pop up and score a goal for us as well. Alright, on the West Ham side of the football, you have Skamaka, you have Lanzini, you have Souček, the guy who always has a goal in him and he hasn't scored one in a while. So I wouldn't be surprised if he scores this weekend, yeah? And also Declan Rice, he hasn't scored in ages, so he could score as well. And so also you have Fornells, so any one of those guys will come along and score. But for me, my anytime goal scorer for this week, I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be I'm going to take my anytime goal scorer to be Bruno Fernandes. Outside of Bruno Fernandes, if Martial is playing, I'll go with Martial. But Rashford, he will get the opportunities, but Rashford needs to work on his finishing, and he should get some opportunities as well. So any of those players could be your anytime goal scorer. So recapping predictions for Manchester United versus West Ham, expecting Manchester United to win here. Expecting both teams to score as well. In terms of combination bet, I go with either team to win and both to score. In terms of predicted scoreline, I'm saying 3-1 here in favor of Manchester United. On the handicap system, I'll take Manchester United to win this one by a goal as well. Alright, so those are my predictions for Manchester United versus West Ham, and those are all my predictions for your English Premier League this week. Predictions and betting tips, that is. As usual, gentle folks, ensure that you subscribe to my channel. Click the like button, share button as well. And also, whenever you're subscribing, ensure that you click the notification bell so that as soon as I send out these videos, then you'll get the notifications so that you can watch my videos, alright? And take your notes and get on to winning and add into your bank balance, yeah? And you can use this money that you win to invest in something else, whether it be trading or whether it be in a new car or something that you wanted to get, yeah? Alright, so thank you very much for your time and have a great weekend and happy betting.